Bless you, Edna.
Good evening. This is the October 17th, 2018 Board of Appeal hearing. I'm going to do minutes in the beginning because we never seem to remember to do it at the end. And we're also trying to implement some consistency here. So working backwards, I have the minutes from our most recent meeting in September, which I emailed to everyone. And I've asked going forward, and hopefully for these, that you take a peek at them, and if there's any changes that are warranted, let me know. If there's a substantial issue that needs to be redebated, we would do that at the next meeting. Otherwise, if you take a peek at them over the course of the month and we come back, I'm going to ask that a motion is made to accept them. And Solicitor Fallon tells me we should be signing these, so we're going to have to pass them around for signatures. So working backwards, the minutes from our most recent meeting, which was September 19th, would there be any, I didn't hear from anyone, so I'm assuming they're all set, and if that's the case, would there be a motion to accept the minutes?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay, and all those in favor? Aye, aye, aye. So, Kathy, I'm going to ask you now to make sure that we all sign, okay? I wrote proposed, but our signature page is here, which we can take care of tonight, and then I'll just print a new page tomorrow or whatnot. I may have given you the August ones as well, which we needed to, yeah, I did. Just take them back for a minute. Okay, with respect to the August minutes, you folks voted them last month with one correction that Adam had picked up on, and that was the AT&T hearing. There was a statement about all statutory notices had been met, and that wasn't the case. So I did delete that and corrected it. So I also have now the corrected August, which we already voted, but we do need, again, the signatures. So this is the August ones that need signature. And that takes care of minutes. So again, hopefully going forward, I'll get them off to you during the course of the month, and if you could review them, and then we'll address them at the beginning of the meeting the following month. Do need to talk about next month's meeting. I just discovered it's on Thanksgiving Eve, and I know that John goes turkey shooting on that night, so we'll need to maybe think about rescheduling a meeting. So that will bring us to the two hearings tonight. You folks for the daycare facility? Okay, yeah, we didn't see you there today. We were over there, and then I called you, and I couldn't get through on your phone. Yeah, because that's kind of a requirement. So we're going to take care of the Habitat hearings first, if you want to come up and not embarrass me again. And I probably should read the notice, though, and before you start. So we're having a public meeting to address a request that we've received to grant extensions on variances that were granted just about a year ago on two separate properties, two contiguous vacant lots up on Main Street known as 960 Main and 968. At the time, a year or so ago, the properties were under the control of the Malden Redevelopment Authority. And recently, I think about 6 weeks, 2 months ago, they did sell the properties to Habitat for Humanity. And our presenter here is from that organization. And I'll just read the request. So it's a request this evening by Habitat Humanity. The request was dated October 2nd, 2018. And again, they are the current owners of the property, to extend two variances that were granted back October 18th, 2017 to the previous owner of the properties, i.e. Malden Redevelopment Authority. The request is submitted prior to the expiration of the one-year period in which to exercise both of these variances for the properties known at 960 Main Street and 968 Main Street. And with that being said, if you could just introduce yourself and let the board know where we're going forward on this, how you're going forward on this, I should say.
Yes, certainly, Mr. Chairman. My name is Lark Palermo, and I'm the Executive Director of Habitat for Humanity Greater Boston. And we have the privilege of being the entity that the Malden Redevelopment Authority has identified for the development of there's actually 3 lots on Main Street in Malden. The first 2 lots are the ones that you granted a variance for the lot size, because the lot size was previously 6,000 square feet per lot. It was increased to 7,500 square feet per lot. The 2 lots, and I actually have, if you want to look at the plan, are both a little over 6,000 square feet. And if it's helpful, I can show you.
The zoning requirement changed, not the lots. Yeah. Okay.
We're in the process of refining the plans that were prepared actually several years ago for the redevelopment authority. They were schematic design plans, so we're now involved in preparing the working drawings so that we can submit an application for a building permit for each house. 2 single-family homes that we'll be constructing, and one of the problems that has arisen is the national grid lockout and getting the ability to get a plan before your DPW that would show the hookup to the gas line is delayed. Main Street was supposed to be repaved. You may be aware of that. And that also, it's my understanding, may be delayed. And we're really at a point where we've got construction drawings just about ready to submit to the building commissioner. And he's prepared to accept them. But I think in order to preserve our right to build under these variances, we need an extension, and so we've requested a 6-month extension.
Okay, so the plans that you're going to submit are identical to the footprint-wise and setback-wise of what was approved by this board?
I'm not going to say identical because I'm not sure that's the case, but to the extent they aren't identical, the houses we're building are a little smaller. Okay. So as far as setback and side yard requirements go, we'll be in more compliance rather than less.
Okay. Anything else?
No, unless you have questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anyone have questions? John? Okay. And you folks are here for your Pleasant Street property, correct? Okay, so I see no public participation. So I will ask if any member would like to make a motion, and keep in mind that when we granted them a year ago, we did handle it as two separate motions. 964 and 968 are the addresses. And they're requesting the extension, which by statute is for 6 months.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone make a motion? Oh, sorry. That would be Adam. Okay, Adam?
I motion to grant the extension for both of the variances.
Okay, we'll do one at a time for 964.
Is that the first one?
I'm sorry?
Do we want to do them separately?
I think so, yeah, only because they were approved that way.
All right, what's the first?
I'll use 964 being the lower of the two numbers.
Okay,
Yeah,
964, I motion to grant the
okay.
extension.
A second? And all those in favor? Aye, granted. Okay, and would you like to take another stab at that? That's
what's the second
968?
one?
968?
968, I motion to grant that extension as well.
All those in favor? Second, and then all those in favor? Aye. Okay, so you're all set, and again, it goes for 6 months, which sounds like about April. I know the strike's still going on.
I hope we will be able to start construction this fall, and I'm not sure how that's going to work, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I really appreciate this. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
We'd love to have you come to our groundbreaking.
Okay. All right. That one. And then, all right, our second and final hearing is for Rialda Palumbi Little Elephant Learning Center for a variance of section 300.1.3.2, Chapter 12 of the revised ordinances of 1991 as amended of the City of Malden. This is not the right ad. This is talking about sign. This was because of open space. Let me get a correct ad. That was copied over, and that's not correct. Would you have... Yeah, no, see, this is sign design. It was copied over by me, it was a mistake. I think I have it somewhere else. It's just quoting the section. This is going to, yeah, that's what exactly. So again, this is the Board of Appeal hearing at the Marquis Center on Wednesday, October 17th, on the petition of Rialda Palumbi Little Elephant Learning Center for a variance of section 400.1.3.2, Chapter 12 of the revised ordinances of 1991, as amended of the City of Malden, open space requirements for daycare facilities as per plans at the property known as and numbered 148 Pleasant Street, also known as by City Assessor's Parcel ID, Map 51, Block 275, Parcel 504. So as I mentioned, the couple of us here, three of us went to the site today, because if you're asking us to approve something, we kind of have to see it. And we stood out front for about 15 minutes and then called the following number and said, not taking calls.
I received a call actually from the number that is 700.
So we didn't get in the property. So I don't know how the board members are going to feel on that, but why don't you proceed and just identify yourself, let us know what you're proposing.
Okay, my name is Rialda. I'm here for Little Elephant Learning Center. So it will be like a small daycare for 10 kids, mixed age. The space, it's 148 at Pleasant Street, and it's no outside space on that property. But around there are two playgrounds that the kids can walk. It's the MacArthur Playground, which is 7 minutes walk from the property. And the other one is the Kate Morley Playground across from the post office, which is 7 minutes walk from here. and the Malden Library, which is 5 minutes walk, that the kids can walk there. And about the parking situation, when the parents will pick up and drop off the kids, they are, I think the MBTA parking station at the T station, the Pleasant Street public parking, and also the Exchange Street parking, that they can park their car,
Okay.
I think. I didn't know for today that you're supposed to look at the place.
Yeah, in the letter that we send out, it says you're supposed to be there between 10 and 1. So on the plans that were submitted, could you look at what's open on front of Mr. Summers there? Because one of us had a question or two. Is that a duplication? Is it 2 rooms?
No,
Is that a duplication? It's one picture of the space?
no, this is just one, this is the picture of the space.
That is the space?
Yeah, but this is, I just draw some areas, like if you wanted to know what's gonna be inside the daycare, how it's gonna be set up.
Okay.
So like, yeah, it's like a table for them to play at or
Yeah,
a
like
quiet
quiet
area.
area, yeah, but this
Okay.
is the space, the open area.
As is that, but that one just shows some of the area designated. Okay,
Designated
right.
design for the total space is 26 square feet.
Okay, in the package, though, there was something that showed 2,200. That's why we're a little confused.
That's, it's because they have 2 space over there, the owner.
Right.
And they put it all together, so that was a mistake from their end.
Right, and so our package had both, so that's why we're trying to figure out, and then we don't get there, we don't get in, you know, it makes it a little more difficult. Okay, thank you. So you mentioned, I think that the building inspector was unable to approve the permit because of the open space issue, and I heard you address that, but all the locations that you referenced are public areas.
Yeah, I know, but I used to work on both of daycares here at my little best friend, and also to the what is that? I forgot the name of my little best friend, and the one that it's in Exchange Street. Yes, on the road again. I used to work for both of them, and they don't have open space, so we used to walk kids on those playgrounds every day, and it's like not more than 5 or 7 minutes walk from both of the playground, and we used to spend a lot of time during the like when it's winter, to the Malden Public Library.
Right.
And especially my daycare will be very small, so it's just 10 kids. So it's not going to be like.
But interpreting the zoning, when they talk about that requirement, the intent is that it's
Yes.
inside of that's part of your space.
Yes.
Did you have a question, John?
I was just wondering about the space per child. I mean, are they indicating that the open space is outside the building, or is this open space per child in the unit?
No, my understanding from the conversation I had with the building department is it's outside of their space.
Okay.
Yeah. And none does exist.
Does not exist at all. All right, and I have some questions on, now that we know that this is just, both of these are just one,
Yes.
are the same thing, right?
Yes, it's the same thing, but one is just designated how it's going to be
Yeah.
when it's designed, and the other one is just the open space, how it looks now.
Right, and what's in it at the present time. Where does this exit go? Does this go right outside?
The exit doesn't go right outside. It was a little hallway, and from the exit is a door that lead you outside, because I think that is a door for the whole building that goes outside,
Okay, good. So that's one of the reasons why we like to be there
inside.
to see. I mean, are there any steps getting outside?
No,
Not at this exit, not at the outside?
not, yeah, no. It's like the same when you enter.
What's the distance like? How far?
It's like not more than 1 feet. It's like as soon as you open the exit door, it's the other door.
The other
that
door is there?
lead you outside. And the hallway, it's not more than like 1 foot wide. Like the hallway between the 146 exit door to the whole building exit door.
So you're right across from the,
Yes,
so there's a hallway here that everybody uses for the building?
yes.
Behind you.
No, that is the hallway for the exit for the whole building.
Okay.
Have you received a license from the state?
For the license of the state, after you get approved from the city hall, I am allowed to apply for the state license.
But not until then?
Not until now, because I cannot do that. Without the tax ID, I'm not allowed to apply for the state license. And without the building permission, because pretty much what state license is they follow your lead, guys, whatever you say, and they are there just to see if after everything gets finished. So they're more interested in how the furniture will look inside the building and if they have sharp corners and stuff, more safety issues.
So they haven't visited at this point because
No.
it's premature. You have to
It's
get through
premature.
through the city.
Yes,
Okay.
it's pretty mature, yeah.
Right.
Jim, I actually had more of a question for you. I didn't really see a definition for open space in here. Is open space generally just, I guess, like a backyard or a front yard or?
Playground.
It is referenced, because I went to it today, it's 400. There's quite a few areas that can qualify one. Porches, decks, roof decks. 400.8, which applies to all districts, and then there's some exceptions. Bill, would you just pass that along to Adam? 400.8 explains open space.
Oh, yeah, I see it right here. Yeah, thank you.
And I'm not positive, but those might be some newer ordinances that have come in. I thought of that when you mentioned a couple places in the city that you've worked in the past.
Yes,
Yeah, I think there may have been some changes to the requirements.
No, absolutely. I mentioned that just because I work, and I know how much the distance between this area and the playgrounds are, and we used to walk with the kids like every day.
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned, but not
Okay.
for.
Any other questions from the board? Comments? Hearing and seeing none, would anyone like to entertain a motion?
I guess my general thought on this too, just having taken a look at it, is this to me just doesn't really seem like a space for a daycare. You know, it just seems like an office space, but there's no open space available to it. It just doesn't seem like it's really meant to be a daycare, and I don't see anything particularly unique about the building or the structure that would really justify a variance.
The building is a Masonic building, newly renovated. It's 94% residential, and there's retail on the ground level of Pleasant Street. As far as the commercial component on Pleasant, Eastern Bank has moved into 2 units. There's some type of a salon. These folks were hoping to go in, and there may still be, I think, 1 vacant space, and then there's a little management office, but it's predominantly a residential building, apartment style.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is sorry.
You're on, John.
I mean, a number of concerns. One is that, yeah, I mean, it's certainly not designed for a daycare center, I don't think. It's also a very densely traveled area. I mean, front of that building and back of that building is already, I mean, if you could drive down there, you talk about parking, I mean, it's extremely difficult to get, you know, any kind of spaces near there, you know, with, and having to transport the children. I mean, I understand there's only going to be 10 of them, but I see that they're sometimes very fast, these children. But it's, you know, I think it's fairly dangerous area, I think, for kids to be had. And also it would be difficult. When I go by schools now, I see that are more, that actually have parking. I mean, I see a lot of double parking going on. I see, you know, the parents they're not going to park at the MBTA lot. I'll tell you that. I mean, they're going to be parking in front of the school to pick up their kid.
That'd be a tough walk over from the MBTA lot as well.
Or any lot. You know,
any lot,
it's nearby. I mean, the parents are, you know, they park on the front steps of the school if they could. Yes, is that true? Okay. And here's one speaking. I don't have children, so I mean, but I observe what's going on around the schools. So I think it's a difficult location for that kind of a thing.
For that type of use.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Any comments, or anyone like to make a motion?
I mean, I'd make a motion that the petition be denied based on the zoning requirements and the type of space that it is and where it's located.
The proposed use,
Yes.
as compared to how it's currently improved and built out in that area?
Yes.
Okay, that would be, and would there be a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and all those in favor? Aye.
Right? We're in favor of denying it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So unfortunately, it's denied.
Okay,
All righty.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was a vote of 5-0, which a motion by John and second by Adam. I do have one or two other little administrative items. Huh? No, I think it's okay. Thank you for pointing that out, though. So next month, our third Wednesday falls on Turkey Eve. At the moment, there's two petitions, both represented by local attorneys, and I spoke with both of them. And, I think the consensus was to try to look for another date. So we also have to be considerate of this hall. It is used other evenings. So our November hearing would have been the 21st or the 22nd?
21st.
21st?
They didn't want to limit their responses and questions, they didn't want to shorten it up, get out here. They'd keep us here all night as a bad joke. We'd be eating Thanksgiving dinner. I'm going to say, if you tell me who the attorneys are, you're definitely saying let's reschedule.
So we were supposed to be on for the 21st. So then the prior week, the planning board is here on Wednesday night. So then I thought of going the following week on the 28th. And that seems to be okay. Both of the attorneys are okay with it. I'm looking to see that we are okay with our board members and that we can have a quorum. And I also would point out that both of those petitions came in and just missed getting on for this evening. So they were kind of dated. And by putting them on now in late November, we were coming up against the 60-day issue. But when I spoke with both attorneys, we addressed that, and they said they were fine, that they would submit letters saying that they would grant the extent, not hold us to the 60-day on having the hearing. So would everyone be okay for Wednesday the 28th, which would be the week after Thanksgiving?
Yeah, 6:30 still, right?
Same start? Yeah. And I checked with the folks that run the hall, and it's available. So that's all right. John, that work for you? Yep. Okay. And we will have a new member, provided she's sworn in by then. And that is the only other thing I had was, what else did I have? I think I had one more thing. Oh, here we go. Okay. So, took care of Main Street. We took care of the daycare. We took care of the minutes. And we talked about meeting. We gave you those plaques, no guarantees. And I guess that's it. We just have to get Ron Cochran to put something on the city site about the change to the meeting date. So with that, if no one has anything else, would there be a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at 7 o'clock, 7:02. And now I can shut off, right, Dino?